Hi, everybody. It's Melissa Peters, and I just wanted to take a couple of minutes to talk to you about trade shows today. So, I love doing trade shows. I think they're especially important when you feel like your warm market's kind of been tapped out. It's a great way to meet new people, to spread the Plexus goodness, and kind of get out there and get new contacts, right? Build that pipeline. So, a couple things I want to talk about today. First of all, is I want to talk about this is really important. Why, like the whole point of doing a trade show, it's not to sell your products from your table. We don't do inventory with Plexus, so there's no reason that you should have a bunch of inventory on your table or behind your table trying to sell. For a couple of reasons. You know, that doesn't do you any good if we're in a contest where you're building points for getting new customers. It's a lot cleaner if they have to return if they've ordered from the website. And you know, if they're a preferred customer, then you wouldn't get the preferred customer bonus if they're just buying from you. So just makes so much more sense just to say, you know what, that's one of the things I love about Plexus. I don't have any inventory, but you can go right to my website and buy it from there. So that's kind of something right off the bat that I wanted to talk to you about. The whole point of doing the trade show for this type of business is to get them to the next event, the next meeting, the next interaction, because you're not going to convince them to do Plexus right there at the table. You might, but chances are, you know, you want to refer them to something else. And what I say a lot of times is, hey, we don't have a ton of time to go into all of these products today, but I would love to have you come over to my house next weekend. I'm doing a little sip and see sample pink drink and talk about the products and how they've helped me and how they've helped my friends. I'd love to have you come to that. So I always have follow-up events scheduled, usually a live event and then a Facebook event. That way they have the choice. So you can refer them to that. So I will, in a couple minutes, I'll show you some pictures of what my booths look like. But that's something really that I wanted to kind of plant in your brain from the get-go, is it's not just to sell the products or sign them up as an ambassador right from your table. They may be ready to do that, but chances are they're probably not. So, and that's okay, but you want to engage them and you want to get them going on to the next thing. What do you say when they come up to your table? So first of all, I say, hey, have you heard of Plexus before? And sometimes people will walk away and go, there, and they'll walk away and that's fine. But most people will say, no, or maybe. And they say, well, great, we are a natural health and wellness company, and we focus on three things primarily: blood sugar, gut health, and inflammation. And isn't it amazing how those three things can really exacerbate the health issues that we have today? And they'll say, well, yeah, that's really true. So then what I do is I show them my picture. I grab my picture off the table, and this is the one that I use. This was me on the first day I took the products, and this is me 5 months later in last June at convention. And so I'll say, okay, this was me. And then I'll go through my 30-second story, my little Cliff Notes version of my story. And then I will say, so what we're doing today is that we are giving away a 7-day trial of our pink drink we call Slim. And I'll talk about the Slim a little bit and why it was created and all of that stuff. And I'll say all you have to do is fill out this little form, and you'll go in the drawing for the 7-day Slim trial. Isn't that awesome? And so while they're doing that, and I'll show you, this is kind of what the tickets that look like. These are what I use. These are from SJ Plexus Designs for free. Thank you, Stephanie. But it's got their name, you know, fill out their info at the top, some common health issues that they may struggle with. There's also a nice little spot here to write in things that aren't here, or for you to take notes on. And then information here if they want more information, if they want to host a sip and see, or if they want ambassador information. That's all good stuff. So while they're filling that out, you can kind of talk to them a little bit about what's going on with them health-wise. And then they drop their name in the bucket, and then you say, thanks so much, Susie. I'm going to follow up with you this week. I'm going to text you if you win. I hope you win. And, you know, make sure you accept my friend request, and I'll get you into that Facebook party, you know, whatever it is. But you want to go ahead and have them leave with that seed being planted of you're going to follow up, which you really need to do. That is probably the most important thing, is make sure you're following up with these people that have given you their information. That is gold. And then you let them go on their way. You don't want to spend 15 minutes with each person. You want to spend a couple minutes tops. If you have a power partner that's doing the booth with you, that's even better, because then you can, reach people. As one's talking, the other one is doing the same thing with somebody else. That way you're not missing people. The point is not spending 15 minutes with, if you do that, that's only 4 people an hour. What? So, I mean, think about that a second. You want to get in and you want to get out. You want to get their information, say, thank you so much for stopping by, and I will follow up with you later. And make sure you're having, it's always good to plan those events, those follow-up events, and have them kind of already on your schedule, so you know exactly where it's going to be, what time it is. You may want to print up little flyers about it. I've done that before too. But that's just really important to make sure that you are leaving them knowing that they're going to hear from you, and then do it. So what does my booth look like? Okay, so I have, I'm going to screen share now, and I'm going to show you some pictures of what my booth has looked like in the past. So this was a church bazaar, and I'll kind of talk to you about how my booth has changed over the past 6 months or so since I started doing these. I don't do samples anymore. I did it this particular event. It worked out well because it was in September. It was still pretty hot here in Vegas, and it was in a church. It was at a church rummage sale. I paid like $25 for this table, which was awesome. And so I did have some refreshment there, and it was good. People liked them, but I will say that I don't traditionally do samples like this anymore, for a couple of reasons. Sometimes shows are really, really particular about health code and stuff like that, and so it's not even worth it, to be honest with you. And sometimes it's a waste of money, especially if you mix up all this pink drink and then nobody drinks it. So I don't really recommend doing the samples anymore. But you can see my banner, see my awesome pink tablecloth that attracts people. I have some brochures and catalogs and things like that, and some empty bottles and things like that. So that was one very small one that I did. This was a larger show. This is actually a 2-day women's expo, and it was a booth share that I did with some other gals that live in California who are not even on our team. So we have 3 little mini clipboards here, and what I recommend if you're doing that with people, either have everybody have a different color pen so you know who can follow up with whom, and or whose leads belong to whom, or put your little initial in the corner or something like that. We also did, and you'll see these too, we also did little water bottles that we would kind of do an extra little raffle for, with little raffle tickets. That's why the clock was up there. We were giving them away every hour, and they had samples and business cards and things like that in it. Super easy, dollar store water bottles, y'all, with some Plexus stickers on them, and people love them. You can also see that I did a TV here. I had a slideshow going on. That's Laura. Actually, that's one of Laura's pictures. And I don't typically do the TV anymore either. I did have it in this next show. This was one that I did myself, and you can see that I now have 2 tablecloths, the Plexus Worldwide one as well, and that my banner went up. And there's some water bottles and things like that. If you have power, if you want to do a slideshow, I had the TV plugged into my laptop with an HDMI cable. But I don't even really do that anymore, just because it's a lot to tote, and I don't really think there's a whole lot of value in having that slideshow. Again, every show is going to be a little bit different, so you need to be flexible. Here's the last one that I did, and I'm sorry that the lighting is totally horrible and it shows all the wrinkles in this tablecloth that is a little bit crooked, but just bear with me there. My displays changed a little bit too. I have this new little rack. It's actually a fingernail polish rack that I got from TJ Maxx, and it holds all the bottles perfectly, so that's great. So it's kind of a nice clean display. You can see that I have my water bottles here, and my husband in the Allstate booth next to me. So we actually had a location change at this event, and so we had to do setup in like 10 minutes before the show. So that's why the tablecloth's a little crooked. If you know me, you know how OCD I am, and how type A I am. how type A I am. You know, I would have fixed it if I had the time. But and what I do too, you can see my husband. This is a great example. I rarely stand behind the table. I'm always in front of the table, engaging with the people that are going by, and it's just really important. You want to build that connection with them. You want to build that relationship with them. You want them to know that you honestly care about them, and that's why the follow-up is so important too. So I hope that this has helped you. Make sure you brand yourself. Less is more. And if I can help you in any way, please reach out, and I'm happy to share my tips and tricks with you. Hope you have a great day. Thanks so much.